questions. They're asking about how we do with collecting the debt, overpayment of $13 million. Your answer is very, very clear. Says you conclude by saying we're continuing to identify strategies to recoup this without exerting undue fiscal strain. And that's certainly a good objective. And the total was $13 million for trying to do it. And I would just wonder if you could shed any light, Stephanie, on what are the strategies that you're currently thinking about? Is there anything you can tip us off to as to how you would be going about doing that?
Of course.
Thank you.
And I think it is important to, with the cost of care perspective, we have been working on this overpayment recovery effort for a significant period of time. So what we have implemented is a strategy where if we had an agreement with a provider for a repayment of a cost of care, and we have yet to receive a payment against that debt, we are issuing notice of debts, which is the formal debt collection process, which allows the provider to appeal, but it also allows the state to have the ability to offset claims payments if a payment arrangement isn't agreed to and we aren't seeing some movement on payment of those. So that is one of the biggest changes that we have implemented, which is the formal notice of debt perspective. We've been working over a period of time, and we have had significant interaction and collaboration with the provider community, but there are some that have agreed to the dollar amounts, they've agreed to payment terms, and we haven't seen any dollars yet. Those are the providers who are issuing the formal notice of debts, which will allow us to offset claims payments if necessary.
Thank you. So that's the difference there is that you've gone to some kind of formalization, some standard debt collection kind of process in most cases. Is that right?
Correct. Correct.
And would it be possible that if we have a meeting in September, I believe we are, would you be willing to talk about that again? Or if you're in attendance, would you be willing to talk about that again?
Yep, and I believe we do have a requirement. I'm trying to think back to the language, but I believe we have also a formal requirement of a report back in October as well. Again, the process and the amount collected so far.
I don't want to preempt that, but just a conversation in September. Thank you very much.
Representative Rochelle?
Representative Cashel asked a question about the date.
So then we'll move on to Senator Brandon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess I was chatting, so I didn't hear Senator Flood's question. But my question, I have two questions. One was, how much have we recouped already, and where are the recoupments being reported so that we can, so we want to keep track of that.
So I will have to get back to you on the exact dollar amount, and as I don't do the financial reporting, I would probably misspeak on where it's actually being reported, so we will get you. I would assume, looking at Chris, but probably an Advantage Maine, but I will get you that information as well, because I don't want to misspeak and say that it's somewhere that it might not be.
Representative Norton.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I'd like to get back to the transportation issue. We've been talking about recouping money from nursing homes, but I still am unclear why we basically paid at least $3.8 million more, and maybe more than that, from February through May or June to CTS. You said there was additional money that went to ensuring that the boys were receiving $1,000.
That was just for the retention payment.
So we still have almost $4 million accounted for. So what would that $4 million essentially go to?
The $4 million was going to pay for actual transportation services delivered. So when the contract was not renewed from CTS, the department had to ensure that the lights stayed on, somebody was still there answering the phones, and that the actual transporters who delivered the service to the individuals, to the Maine Care members, actually got paid for the services in which they had delivered. And that was the biggest concern for the department, that because TTS, because of their failing statistics on operations and the fact that they were not going to be renewing the contract, we had to ensure that payment was made, and we had to ensure that transportation was still delivered through the transitionary period, and that is what the additional dollars went towards.
This is additional to what they were usually getting.
This was additional, it was to pay for the transportation, and it went directly to the transportation providers, not to CTS.
So you're convinced that CTS will not have paid the transportation providers?
We had some concern that they were not correct.
Other questions? Senator Creighton?
Thank you. People are so quiet. It's not like the HHS committee where they're very, very reckless over there. Well, I think that some people are taking questions out of order from the agenda, so I will hit on the nursing homes, 1776. There's a few questions about that, but I would like to know whether or not the rules are put into place so that providers are able to utilize those dollars now, and for the structure of the bill to be in place for them.
So the rules are currently working through the promulgation process. They are with the Attorney General's office, but they will be retroactive to August 1st, I believe. The providers have received their increased payment. They received it for the month of July in their August billing that came in a week and a half or so ago. So the rules are currently in the process. They will be retroactive to ensure that we have the correct rules in place, but the providers have received their payments.
Are there public hearings for the rules?
There will be. We are adopting them on first an emergency basis because we were allowed emergency rulemaking authority through LD 1776, and then it will have to go through the APA process, which will be a formal public hearing and comment period.
So my second question is, while I am very, very delighted that the nursing homes got an extra $4.6 million, we were never informed about where those dollars actually came from.
So I'm assuming the question is, where did the dollars come from? So I think that, and I haven't had the opportunity to read through here, but we were able to, through the end of the year, identify the additional dollar amount to make sure that we were able to more fully fund adequate and necessary funding for the nursing facilities with LD 1776. There were a couple of provisions in there. One of them was the rebasing to bring nursing facilities up to a more current year of their cost, as well as there was a payment for, I may not get the terminology right, but for a large portion of Medicaid patients within the nursing facility, there was an additional payment made there. Through the department's efforts, and we've talked on numerous occasions through the emergency department collaborative work that we've done, through our health homes that we have implemented, we have been able to more tightly manage our budget through our forecasting perspective, and we were able to, at the end of the year, find the necessary funding to put more dollars towards LD 1776 and fund the nursing facilities to ensure that they were more accurately paid from a reimbursement perspective. We were not able to fully fund the whole of LD 1776, but it was through the efforts of the department more closely managing our expenditures that we were able to find those dollars.
Representative Rotunda?
I wanted to go back to logistic here, but I'm also thinking about your response just now, start thinking about where the additional money came from, and it just, I think there are questions that remain about where some of that, the fact that there are fewer people on Medicaid at this point, and where is that money going? And I think there's questions that remain those contracts so that we know that in fact that's happening?
So the brokers are required to keep that information on file, and as we did last year, we will be doing this year, we will be going and doing a random audit of that information. The department, through our quality assurance group, went to each of the brokers and requested to see that information. We will be doing that same thing this year, but it is a requirement that they keep that information on file, available to the department when we request it.
Thank you, that's very helpful. Because unlike Representative Peschel, we get a lot of calls about this. Maybe it has to do with districts that have a lot of agencies within one, I don't know, but I have gotten a lot of calls, including from a parent every morning at 7:30 whose daughter is picked up very vulnerable young woman with a cab, and the mother is just very, very concerned about the safety of her child in terms of the child has
Well,
as a kind of seizure as well as being very vulnerable and wanting assurances about that.
Yeah, I would encourage you, Representative Rotendo, to send those to me. I would also state that for parents who the broker is using a taxi, the parent has to sign off. They have to sign a form allowing the taxi to be used for their child. So if there is concern, I would be interested in hearing that, and we can work with the broker to find a different mode of transportation if available.
Representative Peschel.
Yes, I want to get back to the nursing facility issue, okay? As you know, at the end of I think it was the last day of the session, we worked very hard in this committee to try to get more funding to nursing homes. We failed to do that. So the first thing I want to do is thank you for all your efforts at DHHS to secure that additional funding and to kind of provide more money so we didn't have nursing homes running this business. The question I have, though, is are there still nursing homes that are in a position where they may have to close for lack of funding?
Well, I wouldn't say I don't know the financial stability of all of the nursing homes around the state. What I will say is, even with a rebasing effort to bring them up to a more current year of cost, there are facilities who have significantly reduced their costs. Therefore, LD 1776 didn't necessarily solve the financial problems of some of those facilities. If you were a facility who had figured out, and you were a smaller facility, and you had cut costs to the bare bone, rebasing to a more current year of a cost didn't necessarily help you out there. There are rural nursing homes, because a large portion of their patient volume is Medicaid, are still struggling and still have financial pressures.
Okay, have any nursing homes closed?
We had, I'm trying to recall, we had one facility down east that closed. We've been working very closely. Good morning, my name is Rick Hamilton. I'm Deputy Commissioner of Appropriations at the Department of Health and Human Services. It's been a busy summer. We've been in contact with a lot of providers, and the way we've been responding to that representative is we bring in Ken Allen and his group for licensing matters to bear. As I sit in front of you now, recall I have one facility.
Yeah, I recall them too, so I just want to make sure.
And there was the one that just recently closed, Penobscot, and I believe there was
Ocean.
one.
Thank you.
Senator Creighton.
Well, as you know, this is a very sore spot with me. So I just want to say that we spent an entire year working on the American Long-Term Care bill. It was a unanimous bill out of the commission. It was a unanimous bill out of our committee, unanimous in the House and Senate, and we put $4 million into that bill. And so that the legislature was not involved or was in the hearing is not accurate. And so I just want people listening to know that we certainly were responsive. And I am delighted that we got the extra money because it was absolutely needed. But certainly the legislature was responsive, and we did put $4 million in the bill when it got passed here on the last night of the session.
Representative Peschel.
Yes, I didn't mean to imply that the legislature wasn't responsive in terms of my comment. My comment related was to particular effort at the end of the session, the last night of the session, when there was an additional $5+ million we were looking to provide that we failed to get done. And that's what I was thinking the HHS was doing. So I appreciate and supported all those efforts that Senator Creighton spoke about. But we did have that one issue at the end of the session. I thought it was important. We'd like to see got through. We weren't able to do it, working through all of the agencies. So that was where we come from.
Representative Rock.
Madam Chair. I just want to acknowledge that, yes, I think we looked at the formula, but it's my understanding, remembering correctly, that we have been underfunding the old base rate of $30 million. So we have some tremendous additional needs to really have something being happening.
And I would just like to comment on Representative Ketchum's comment, because I think there's been a lot of rewriting of history that's been taking place over the last 2 months. And I just want to remind the committee that we, in fact, were working on a solution in a bipartisan way. And I know, I'm confident we would have gotten there to additional funding for nursing homes that last night. But leadership, Democratic and Republican, came to us and told us to kill the bill. So I think it's important to set the record straight, because as I said, there has been a lot of rewriting of history around, who supports the nursing homes and who doesn't. And we would have gotten to some kind of agreement that night had Republican and Democratic leadership not come to us and told us we needed to kill the bills because the governor was not going to support any compromise that came.
Representative Ketchum.
Not to get into the debate, I agree with you, and that's what happened. I wasn't aware that necessarily it was all due to the governor, but I remember folks in the back room saying to me that both sides had agreed that it wasn't going to get done in the time frame that we were given. We weren't given the time to work it, and so it didn't happen. And that is why it was very fortunate that they were able to come up with the funding, and I appreciate that. That was where my comment was going.
If I might, I just think we ought to celebrate whatever happened, the funding that came from the legislature, which was needed. Your foresight was fantastic. The ability that we were able to come up with some savings through the pharmacy management, opiates, and others that was just mentioned, I think it's an example of great partnership. More money needs to be done, but a little bit happened in the partnership of what you were able to pass, what the department was able to do over the summer. And I thank you for that, and we ought to just celebrate that too as a victory.
We have the benefit of having Stephanie Netto and Booker Hamilton here for questions on DHHS. So do we have any more questions for them? Senator Lovich.
My question isn't on the agenda, but I received information that women entering substance use care that are on Maine children, family members have had their babies canceled once they enter treatment, because then they're considered non-categorical able-bodied adults. And so I'm kind of wondering, is that a policy the department is now following? And these are people that were approved, that were authorized to enter into residential treatment. Once they're there, then the outcomes they're under, and they're not families involved in child protective services, but also the department is not custody of children, just temporarily staying with the family members, staying in treatment.
So I would need to get some more information from you specifically and go back and support that.
I spoke to Corporal Rosser in Bangor, and they've had conversations with the children's department about this. So it's something concerning to me, because we have someone, families, return to state substance use treatment, and this is a barrier for us getting that.
Yep, I can take it information back, and I will talk with Bethany, the director of the Office of Independence, and we can get answers back to you, but I don't have any answers for you today.
So Stephanie, we're not in session, so we don't get to see you much. And we only meet once a month as an Appropriations Committee. But I think issues like that expressed by Senator Kovich should come up. And Representative Rotundo, she expressed, come up for a number of legislators. What is the best way to handle those when we're out back in our districts this summer and fall, and we're told that I think we need to react sooner and be able to react sooner? So what is the path that legislators should take to bring this to DHHS's attention?
My recommendation would be to send an email or call to Nick Adolphson, and he will ensure that that gets to the right person within the department to research and resolve the issues. But I would use Nick as that point of contact.
Senator Kovich, but just as a follow-up question, being as this wasn't happening before, is this will change? I want to know, I want to make sure that if the adequate answers, because it's a real barrier, so.
Right. I don't have that answer for you today. I would need to go back and I would need to research that. I don't have an answer today. And any information that you can provide, whether it be through Nick or you, I'm